Hello everyone. So in this lectures we will going to see how to create a React applications for the GraphQL. So in previous lectures we have seen how to create a Spring Boot applications for GraphQL, and I will put that links in the description so you can first watch this video. So in this video when you create this very small application, so after that you can move to this lectures. Yeah. So let me show you. So in this in previous videos we have just seen how to create queries, mutations, and what is the type, all these things. So once you create these things, after that you will able to see playgrounds, and on playgrounds we will able to fire these queries. So now we will going to see how to use these queries in a React application, what is the best practice and what is the best workflow for the development for the GraphQL with the React applications. So we will going to use the Apollo and CodeGen for generating the types and already prepared hooks which is provided by the Apollo. So let's start with this. So first we need to create React applications. So we will going to use the TypeScript for React. So for creating a React applications you need to run this scripts create React app, and here you can provide the your application's name, anything. So let's write this as a demo GraphQL, and after that we need to provide the hyphen template equals to TypeScript because we will going to use the TypeScript. So let's wait for this to complete. Yeah, so it is completed. So let's open it in a VS Code, or you can use your any preferred uh, code uh, code editor. So I am going to use the VS Code. Yeah. So once you open this, and after that we need to install few more dependency. First things we will need Apollo clients. So there is just so many clients you can use, but Apollo client is very good, and most of the times if when you get a chance to work in any enterprise level of application, so you will going to encounter the Apollo client. So in this lectures we will going to see this Apollo clients. So this is how you can install this Apollo clients and GraphQL's dependency. So it will going to take some time. So once you install these things, so after that let's do one thing. So inside the src, let's create one class, one file, and name this as a client.ts, and very specific you can also write this as a Apollo client. Yeah. So in this file we will going to initialize our client. So let's create a client, and for creating the client, Apollo client is provided one Apollo client. So we need to import that Apollo client which is coming from Apollo slash client package. So after that in this class will going to accept one objects when it's going to create a objects. So at that times we need to pass a URI is the endpoints where our backends GraphQL server is running. So in our case it is running on localhost. So http colon slash slash localhost colon 8080 and slash GraphQL. So this is the endpoints in our case. So after that we need to provide a cache. So what's happened, so whenever we will going to fetch whenever we will going to issue any request and anything from our applications, so when we going to receive the data from the backend sites, so that data will going to automatically cache corresponding to that query. So for caching these things we will going to use the in-memory cache for now. So let's import this, and here we will not going to provide any config. So for now just see how default config is work, and after that we need to export this client. So this is how we can create the Apollo client. So now we need to provide the same client throughout our application. So we need to go inside the app.tsx, or we can do, let's open this index.tsx. So here we can also provide. So let's import. So from the same package we will going to import the Apollo client, Apollo provider. So with the help of this provider, it is again like it is again like a context API which is provided by the React. So with this providers, this package will going to provide the functionality for using use query, use mutations, use subscriptions for communicating with the backend side. So let's initialize this, and within this providers we will going to render our applications. Yeah, so when we provide this thing, so here we need to pass clients also. So let's imports our client. Yeah, this is all we need to do related to the configurations for Apollo servers, sorry, Apollo clients. So after doing this config, so inside the app.tsx, and one more things also, if you are using this Apollo providers inside the app.tsx, then you cannot use the use queries and all these things in the same components. So in any components where you are starting using this GraphQL's queries, so you always need to use in the same package, same components which is under the Apollo providers. So for example, if I use here, I will not able to use that. I can use inside the app because this app is inside the Apollo providers, and through the dependency, this app behind the scene will going to get the context of the Apollo. So now let's see. So here, we will going to use GZL. So with the help of GGL tags, we can define our query. So for examples, we will going to fetch the same query, this query. Okay, so let's copy this query and name this query as get post and anything. So after that GGL, and here we will going to use this tag. So here we can paste it our query. So in our case, this is our query. So with the help, or let me remove this everything from here. Yeah. So now inside here, let's import use query, which is again coming from the same package. So here we can pass our query get post. So this is the query we will going to fetch, and here we have defined in this query we will going to use get post, and in this query we will going to retrieve titles and descriptions and ID. And when we use this things will going to provide so many things. So inside data we will going to get the data, and this is the loading. So when this loading is happening, this flag will going to be true. So based on that, whatever we want to show on the screen at the loading time, we can do that. In case of error, we will going to have error inside this field. So with the help of this Apollo error, we can show the errors. So now here let's do one thing. So in case of loading, we will going to display one div. In case of data, we will going to display the data. So for now, just display the whatever's we are receiving, because we are not worry about how we will going to display the data. So the intention here just to set up the flow for interacting with GraphQL's API. So let's see. Yeah. So we can also, let's use this error also. Yeah. So this is all we need to do. So let's start this application. So here if we see, we are this error is coming from the backend side. So here if we see the message for the error, so it is saying that cross origins error. So from the backend sides, we need to allow our this origin. So here, what is the cross origin? So let me explain you. So if we see, our backend server is running on the 880 ports, right? So if we try to fetch these APIs from the different port, so by default what happens, this browsers will going to do one more things for the security purpose. So it will going to initiate first request options. Through that request, this browsers ensure is this server is accepting the request from this server, this ports or not. So in our case, our backend server is not accepting any request from any other ports. So because we need to configure that thing, so in that options our backend server will going to return no. So based on that data, browsers will going to just stop that request and will going to throw this course policy error. So it's very easy. So it's very easy to enable this course issue. So here let's enable this GraphQL's allow origins. So here we need to provide this as a star. So what is the meaning of this as star is like we will going to accept from any ports, any origins. So now restart this applications again. Yeah. So now let's refresh this and let's see. So here if you see, now we are able to get the data. So this is the data we are getting from the backend side. So now here let me again reiterate everything. So here it's very easy to using GraphQL's APIs. So first things, we have created Apollo clients. So here this is how we have created Apollo clients. And one more things, in case of our application will going to have a authorization, this type of a things. So here we can do this type of things also. Apollo client provide the interceptors. In that interceptors we can generate the auth JW tokens, and we can set that JW tokens in as a header authorizations, and we can continue with the request. So this type of things we can do here. I really encourage you to please read more about this Apollo clients, and this is very, if you see the documentation, everything is very crystal clear. Yeah. So inside the app.tsx, this is how we have created GGLs, and this is how we will going to use the queries. So now we will going to see the code gen also. So what is the use of this code gen? So if you see here, this data is the type of any. So in case we want to get the any type of suggestions or anything, so it's like nothing, because the data type is any. So we want the type and all these things. So here we need to create the types manually. So these things will going to take a lots of a time. For these things we have a very good solutions, code generations based. So how this code generation will going to be help? So basically from the backend side we will going to fetch the schema. So once we fetch the schema, in that schema we have everything, right? So based on that schema we will going to generate the types and all these things for using. Even we will going to we will going to generate the custom hooks also corresponding to every query. So let's see this code gen also. This is very good part of having this as a development workflow. So in case in your projects you are not have these things, so I really encourage you to please you can try this code gens. It is very good. So this is the commands from which we will going to add this GraphQL code gen CLI as a dev dependency. So please don't forget to use this as a dev dependency. This is not the actual dependency. We just need this type of workflow only at the time of developments, not in our actuals bundle. Yeah. So once it's installed, after that we need to init this code gen. So you need to enter this command npx GraphQL code generator init. So when you init this, it will going to provide so many options. So here if you see, it is saying are we going to generate the code gen config for the Angular app, React app, stencil and view. So in our case we need for the React. So select the React with the up and down arrow and click enter. So here we need to enter our backend address. So in our case it is localhost colon 8080 slash GraphQL and enter. So here it is asking where is your GraphQL query is reside. So keep this as it is for now. We will going to manually change this later. So it will going to ask where you want to put all the generated code. So keep this thing also as it is. So it is going to ask, do you want to generate an introspections file? So what is the introspections file? So from the backend side we will going to download all the schema, and this command will going to put all this schema in a JSON file. So when we going to write the test cases for our components, so at that time we can use this introspections file for auto generating the data. So we will see these things later. So for now just enter n. So it will going to ask how to name the config file. Keep this as it is. And what script in package.json should run the CodeGen. So just enter. For now we don't have any script, so this thing will going to be fail. Yeah. So no need to be worry about this thing, it is expected. So if we see as part of this thing, so this command will going to generate this CodeGen here, and this is the config it is generated. So we will going to use the same config, and we will going to change so many things in this config. So just wait for that. So inside package.jsons, let's create one more commands here. Generate. So here when we run this generate, so we need to run this GraphQL CodeGen. This is all enough. And if you want to run this in a watch mode, then you can do that also, like a hyphen watch. Yeah. So now let's run this npm run generate, and let's see it will work or not. So this thing will going to fail. It is saying there is a no plugin for this client. So previously we used to have so many things. So for now this is the client preset which is recommended by the Apollo, sorry not Apollo, this CodeGen. So we will going to use this client preset. So npm install and install this GraphQL CodeGen slash client preset. So this preset will going to generate the types by just scanning our all the components where we will going to have this GGL and GraphQL things. So based on that, this command will going to generate the types. Yeah. So once we install this thing, so inside the CodeGen, if you see, now it is saying client preset as a clients, right? So this is the preset we will going to use. So now if I run the same commands npm run generate, so it's saying client preset target output should be a directory. Okay, this address is wrong, dot slash and slash. Yeah. So now if you see we are running in this in a watch mode, so it is successfully generated. So now here if you see inside the src we have GGL folders. Inside that GGL folders we have everything related to the types, right? So here if you see inside the query we have get query, recent post, and inside the GGL if you see we have these things, right? And one more thing is missing. So here if you see there is a no clue for this get post, right? So it is not generated any type for this thing. So how it will going to be generate the types for this thing? So one thing here, if we see this query, this query is anonymous. So by default CodeGen will going to be ignore all the anonymous queries. So we need to provide this name. So let's provide this name as a get post. Yeah. So now by just saving this, it is running in a watch mode. It will again going to generate this command. So if we see here inside the GraphQL, so now we will going to have the query document. So if you see here, this is generated get post query, and here everything is mentioned related to our query. So now let me close all these things. Yeah. So here instead of this get post we can provide like get post documents, and this document is again coming from this generated file graphql.ts file, right? So if you see here it is displaying this as unused. We have generated by using these things, but keeping this as unused is like a very confusing. In future developer will not going to have any clue for this thing, what is the purpose of these things. Even though you and I know this, while doing this based on this query we have generated these things, but now it is displaying as unused. So we will see what is the how we can fix this issue later. So now if you see inside the data, if I enter, now I am able to get the uh, suggestions. So if you see here, get post is array. So here if you see, I have descriptions, id, titles, everything, right? So this is very great improvements we did. So in this lectures we have just learned, so far we have learned how to create the types, and here we have just used the client preset for using the types. And one issue there is, we have this file, we can do one things, we have a separate tsx files where we can put these things, but again it's very confusing, right? So here it is not saying anything key where we will going to use these things, right? So there is a few more things we can do here. So let's do that. Let's install one more dependency. It's a separate plugin, so we will going to use this plugin. So it is provided by Apollo. So we need this as a dev dependency. So let's add this hyphen d, sorry, hyphen save dev d. Okay, so let's enter this. Yeah, so it is installed. So inside the package.json abc we have this Apollo reacts, right? And few more plugin we need to install. So let's install those also. First things, we need to install a TypeScript operations also. And after this we need to install this TypeScript plugin also. So let's install this also. And after that we need introspections also, but that is optional. We will see these things after installing these package. Yeah, so once we install these packages, so after that's what we need to do. Let's open this CodeGen.tsx. So here inside the plugin we will going to use we will going to mention these plugins which we have recently downloaded. So here we need to mention these plugin. And one more things, when we going to use these plugins, then we need to comment out these things. Okay, let's comment out, and here I'm going to put this message: don't use with plugin, otherwise it will generate duplicate types. Okay, so now inside the plugin we have defined TypeScript operations, and this is a React Apollo plugin. And inside the configs we need to define a few more things also. So inside the configs, when we're going to run this, we just need hooks only. So here this is the fields with hooks, we need to enable this hook also, right? And one more things, here we need to update these things also. So inside the src we will going to generated one folder, underscore generated. Inside this folder we will going to define one file, GraphQL.ts. So inside this file we will going to put our all the code, right? You can use ts, tsx, whatever you want. So I'm going with the ts, so no issue. So now let's run the same command npm generate, and let's see. And one more thing, so let's delete this also. Now we will not going to use this folder. Yeah, so now let's run this command and let's see. Yeah, so this command will going to generate this underscore generated folder. So inside this folder we will going to have this GraphQL, right? So here if you see, now we will going to have this get post queries, this is the query. And if you see here use get post query, right? So this command will going to generate few more things also. Here if you see, we have a custom query, use get post query, use get post lazy query, this type of things also, right? We can use these things here. So let's me remove these things. Now these things does not exist. So instead of using like this, we can define like a use get post query, right? And just use this and everything is done, right? So let me stop this, and now let's run our application and let's see it is working or not. Yeah. So if you see, our application is working as expected. So we have seen very good way of generating a query. So how this plugin will going to generate these query by using these things, right? So inside the CodeGen we have defined this document. So here we have defined inside the src, just search all the folders and every files with this syntax or with this extension .tsx. So wherever this CodeGen will going to encounter this type of things, it will going to generate, it will going to parse this query and will going to generate the custom hook and all the types, right? So what we will going to do for these things here, it is again showing this as unused and this thing. So now let's cut this here and delete this, right? So now inside this inside src, let's create a new folder, GraphQL. Inside the GraphQL, we will going to create a one file. So name this file as anything. For now I am just naming this as a query, and extension will going to be GraphQL s, right? So in this file, let's put this query like this, right? So inside the CodeGen, let's update these things. So now we will not going to use only these things. So this is also accept the array. So search inside tsx files also. Along with the tsx files, please search inside src slash GraphQL, and inside this GraphQLs we can have n number of folders. Search in all the folders, is there any file ending with this extension GraphQL s? Just parse those files and generate the corresponding types and custom hook. So we will going to use these things like this. So now let's delete this generated file again, and now run this npm run generate again. So this will going to generate again the same thing. Inside the src, it will again going to be display this thing. It will again import the again able to import this thing. So now this query is not generating based on that ggl things. Now this query is generating based on these things, right? So yeah, so this is all. So I have just skipped that introspection things also and the testing things. So the in next lectures, please let me know that. So how do you feel about this workflow? And in the next lectures, we will let me know in the comments if you need if you need any lectures on the test cases. Also, how what will be the desired type of a setup for the testing of this type of a components where we will going to use this type of a query, and how we will going to use that introspection json files for populating the automatic data for all the query. So please let me know in comment. Based on the responses, I will create one lectures for the testings also. Thank you.